Hey, Nick, 4th and 2 at your own 44. You punted there.
Beginning of the
game. Yeah. Well, what you're thinking there.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him a short field. It was actually 4th and 3 on the stat sheet, and so I'm not going to give him a short field there in that scenario on the first drive. I always think about that on the first drive. Not going to get into all my decision making on 4th down as far as what I think and when I think it. But that's one I'm right there. I'm not considering going for at that particular time. We didn't get it. We punted. I didn't want to give them a short field after just one possession that they've had. So that's a little bit of the reasoning behind it.
At the beginning of the game, halftime, and Swift had about 4 carries. What was the flow of the offense in the first half?
Yeah, we were just a little out of sync, obviously. We had the big play to Devontae. Besides that, we were just a little bit out of flow. That's always going to start with me. Wasn't good enough. Obviously, we're not putting them in good enough positions. And so, sometimes when you're in 2nd and long and 3rd and long, you're not continuing drives, it's easy to look at the stat sheet and say, they didn't run it enough. But, there's things that aren't being accounted for. You're in 2nd and long. You're in 3rd and long. There's nothing to say that you can't run it there, but it's going to be harder to pick up a first down in those scenarios. So whenever you're out of flow like that and not in sync like we were, it's going to be hard to get your carries when you're behind the sticks. And we had a 2-minute drive there as well. So, hey, listen, we need to be able to run it more. Obviously, we weren't able to today to get into a flow, and that's on me.
Those 3rd and shorts
in the season.
Obviously, we were in a big slide and. Anytime that's the case, I always look at myself first, and I didn't do a good enough job. And obviously we lost 5 of the last 6 and lost today. And it's almost like you couldn't get out of the rut we couldn't get out the rut we're in, and that's all of us. We'll all have to look ourselves in the mirror and accept that, and just find answers, find solutions. But obviously, when you start 10-1. And then you get into what happened for us. Obviously, that the expectations were high. Expectations were even higher when we started off 10-1, and we fell into a skid. So I'll look at everything. I'll look at, obviously the play calling. I'll look at the, the scheme. I'll look at, practices. I'll look at everything that we're doing because, I think that the past 2 years, did some things. We got hot a little bit at the end, and then this year wasn't that case. So anytime that's the case, you're going to look for answers in those scenarios, because it's not always the answer isn't always like, okay, we finished hot last year, lost our last game, do the same thing. You got to be able to adjust. We did some adjusting to things, but we'll look at everything.
You're looking at everything. Does that include potentially changing coordinator, especially on the defensive side?
Yeah, I mean that's a little premature to talk through that. Everybody in that locker room's hurting right now. Coaches, players, staff, everybody in that locker room's hurting. And my job right now is to be there for them, be there for the guys. We'll get into all that. I'm not there yet, but yeah, we're hurting right now. It's tough to go out, the way we did this. Hats off to the Bucs. They had a good game plan. They did a good job. But my mind right now is not there. I got a lot of time to think about that. My mind right now is on the locker room, the guys, the coaches, all those things.
Nick, how do you think you guys did against the Bucs?
I'm sorry, but are you concerned at all about your job status?
Like I just said like I just said over here, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the guys. Again, there's a lot of guys in that locker room, all the guys in that locker room, every single one of them that put their heart and soul into this. I'm not worried about me. I'm not worried. I'm as the head coach, I'm just trying to be there for our guys and our staff right now, through a tough time. Obviously we didn't finish anywhere near we wanted to finish, and so again, my heart feels for these guys. We're all taking it hard, and that's where my mind is right now. Obviously it was almost a similar play, the safety that we got on them with momentum, and so anytime a safety like that happens, it's a big momentum change, right? They were up 16-9. I thought our defense was doing a good job. At the beginning of the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, it kind of swung the momentum. There, they made a good play, and we didn't.
You should have thrown the ball.
Not necessarily. I'll have to look at the tape of exactly what happened on that. He's trying to make a play. He does so many good things of making plays, and when he extends plays when something's not there, and you can't get really excited and when he makes changing plays and then crush him when something like that happens. And so he's made a lot more plays than he hasn't there in that particular case. We got to put him in a better position to make a play, to start things off. And then, hey, like I said, he's made a ton of plays that way. He's tried to make a play in that situation. Didn't work this time.
How do you think Jalen and the offense handled the blitz?
An issue throughout the game.
I'll get you.
About that. Through the weeks, and you mentioned early in the season, you guys were near the top of the league. When that sort of turns in a drastic direction, how do you look at that as a coach?
Sure. Again, yeah, you just got to look at how you're going about your business. Tackling is a tricky thing. Not a lot of teams are going to tackle live, right? I don't think any teams are going to tackle live, to be quite honest with you, especially late in the season. And so you got to look at how you're drilling it. You got to look how you're, the different technology that they have to help you drill it, because obviously, throughout the body of work of the season, it was good, but it wasn't as good in the last couple of weeks. I think that you can kind of look at everything. If you look at the body of work and a lot of different things this season, the numbers may say one thing, but it wasn't good enough in the past month of the season, right? And so, again, that's going to go back to how we practice, all those different things. I know we had a lot of guys healthy, and we only had 2 starters not here for this game. So part of you wants to say to yourself, well, all hands were on deck for the most part. Obviously, Nakobe and Sidney, AJ would have been able to be back, I'm assuming. But 2 guys out that were season-ending injuries. You want all hands on deck, but you also got to make sure that you're doing the right things with practice. So we'll look at all that. Again, I'm not there yet with that.
Jalen and the offense handled the blitz tonight.
Hey, we scored 9 points. So how do I think the better way to say that is how do you think the coaching staff and the players handled the blitz tonight? Because it's not just on one person. We didn't do a good enough job. Starts with me being able to put them in the right positions to help them make plays. Tried some different things. Hats off to them. They had a good game plan. We didn't coach or play well enough tonight.
Kelsey was emotional coming off the field. Your thoughts on him, particularly if this was the end?
Yeah, I love him. I don't. Obviously, we're not there at that position yet, or to talk about that, or but he's special, and I love him. He's one of the most special guys I've been around. So, obviously, he's always got a place and here, and always want him to play. We'll see what happens as time progresses here.
Given the way the last second half of the season went, I guess what gives you the confidence that you can fix some of the problems that persisted?
Yeah, we believe in ourselves. I'm not sitting in this room, for any reason, and it's the same thing with these guys. I'm really not. I'm not built that way. What gives me the confidence to think that we can fix it? Because we believe in ourselves, and we're in these seats at the at the top of our profession because we worked our ass off to get here. And I can promise you this, that nobody in that locker room thinks that way even a little bit. I don't know in what profession anyone does think that way, and doubts themselves, but sure as hell ain't us.
What do your next few days look like in terms of meeting with Jeffrey? And I know you said that your focus is on the players right now, and you'll get to have.
Yeah, I'm not. Again, like I said, I'm not there yet. I don't know exactly quite yet. Wasn't expecting it to end tonight. It did, and I'll put together a schedule here on the plane ride home and then tomorrow.
Was there anything specific the Bucs did on offense that really kind of let them move the ball at will on you guys?
Yeah, they ran it well. I thought Baker did some good things. With some pressure things, that he made that really good play against Blitz Zero. down the middle. Was that to Godwin, I think. You know, they got some really good players, and I thought they ran the football well, and hats off to them.
Last one. You mentioned the belief.
Go ahead. I got a guy.
Nick, when you talked about not being able to get out of the rut late in the season, do you look back at some of the decisions and wonder why they didn't work?
Yeah, again, like I said, anytime, like, I'm not going to – anytime we make a decision that doesn't work, I'm going to drag myself through the mud and attempts to get better from it. You know, we don't brush things by. We just try to look for solutions, and obviously our solutions weren't good enough near the end. But we'll go back to the drawing board as we continue on.
All right. Thanks, folks.